You wonder where the idea came from. A car tire? A donut? A toilet seat? Who knows? But the annular wing aircraft was a weird old thing. I've got a model of one to build. Find out more right here on Gary's Stuff. Hi there, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today is box opening day on the kit of the week. That kit being the Lee-Richards Annular Monoplane in 1/48 scale from Avis. Now, if you're thinking about buying one of these, want to know what you get in the box, this is very much the video for you. If you've got one and you want to know how to put it together, or more likely have the enjoyment of watching someone else trying to put it together, then that will be the build video, which will come up later this week. How will you know when it's available? Best thing to do, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, and you'll get a notification of all my future content as it is published. And of course, anything you like on my channel, please do give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. And if you'd like to make a more concrete contribution to the channel, you can do that through super thanks, by becoming a channel member, or by using any of my online partner programs. This kit was sent to me by Nick Johnson as one of Nick's mystery boxes. Thank you so very much for this, Nick. I'm looking forward to building it enormously. So let's make a start and have a look at what you get inside the box of the Lee-Richards Annular Monoplane in 1/48 scale from Avis. Yes, this is the box of the Lee-Richards Annular Monoplane 3. Indeed, they had made two more previous to this. As you can see, it's in 1/48 scale. There are only 500 of these made, so it's a low run, therefore low pressure injection kit. This means that the molds can be made a lot more cheaply, so these things are affordable even at a very low run. You know, to make this with a high pressure kit, you'd be looking at like thousands and thousands of them, and yeah, you're not going to sell them. Anyway, Avis is the brand. Their code is BX48001, just about visible here. The first of their 1/48 scale kits that they made. On the side here are some pictures of some of the other kits in their range. These are all 1/72 scale, and again, some of these are pretty bonkers. On here, just a quick instructions in English and in Russian that kind of tells you this is done some time ago, because I suspect this would be in Ukrainian now. And another picture of one of our other kits, some sort of de Havilland moth of some type with floats. It's all very interesting. They do like the odd kit here in Avis. Let's have a look inside now. Everything in the box comes in one plastic bag, which is jolly nice. Let's have a look what's in there. So there are the parts of the kit. We'll go over these in a bit, but there aren't that many of them. There's the paint diagram, which again couldn't be all that much easier, but a proper look at it a bit. And of course the instruction sheet. Let's have a look at these pieces in a bit more detail. The annular ring is a single molded piece on this kit. It has the noticeable dihedral, and on the feel of it, it has more of a camber on the front than it does at the back, which is very close to reality. It wasn't just a wing that they just put into a ring shape. The camber here was much more noticeable here. In fact, they had almost barely no camber at the back here, for very good aerodynamic reasons, I promise you. Anyway, single piece wing, that's not going to cause any problems in terms of at least lining up. There's another frame with the fuselage tail, the top of the fuselage here, the wheels and tyres. Don't know what those are. Maybe those are just bits and pieces on a fuel tank or something like that. We'll find out in a bit. But very straightforward. Not that many pieces to worry about. And then a frame of everything else. The elevons, engine base structure, seat, propeller, and the undercarriage assembly. And I guess that's probably the control wheel, because a lot of planes in these days had wheels. There's an instrument panel, I guess. We'll make something up to go on there. There's not going to be that many instruments, let's face it. This was quite an old machine, about 1912, I think. So there's probably not that many things on there. Rev counter, maybe. Airspeed indicator, possibly. Altimeter, yeah, optimistically so. I guess oil pressure and something like that. So yeah, only about 5 or 6 dials are going to be on there. Maybe a compass, but really not very much. If we have a closer look at the moulding of the plastic, you can see there's significant bits of flash all around the edges here. You know, these are low pressure moulds. They don't shut with a lot of force either. And you do tend to get quite a bit of flash here and there, but you know what? At least the flash shows that the mould has been filled and it's not undershot anyway. The surface has got nice ribbing on the detail there is quite good, quite prominent, and I think quite realistic. There's all these anchor points for the bracing wires. I'm going to be putting in the bracing wires somewhat optimistically, but I thought it would look great if all the bracing wires were in. There's quite a few of them to do. The only real issue is going to be with making sure these are cleaned up and accurately enough, and not over sanded so that the parts fit together, because that was probably going to be a little bit of a pain if I have to fill that sort of area. But we see how we go with that. See nice, quite sharp edges to some of this detail here, and the sort of blending is quite good. So it's actually not a bad little kit. There's going to be bits on the inside, like here, where we have to take those off very carefully. Those are filling lines. But other than that, everything looks good. Likewise, on these smaller parts of the frame, the flash is quite noticeable here and there. But yeah, if you're a model maker, you can get rid of flash without any real problems. As again, I would always rather have a bit of flash to deal with, rather than undershot pieces that I've then got to sort of scratch build bits for. So no detail whatsoever on the instrument panel, but then I'm not even sure it's an instrument panel. It's got crazing on it. Padding might just be a headrest or something like that. Maybe just didn't bother with instruments. Wouldn't surprise me. Let's see. So yeah, decently enough molded. I mean, the detail in here is going to be fairly minimal anyway, mainly because I don't imagine they know what a lot of this detail was. But the plastic's fine. It feels good. Actually, the plastic feels quite good. It feels quite solid, quite respectable. The sort that will cut out and will hopefully sand down very well indeed. Again, the undercarriage parts are they're fine. You know, they're not wonderful, but they're okay. The cockpit is okay. The pieces again are molded fairly sharply. It's just the molds are a little bit flashy. There's a bit of this as well where you've got pieces where they you can see the mold actually does go over the joint a little bit. So just have to be careful with those when you're taking them out to avoid damaging the joint if you can. The interior, there's a kind of like an attempt at some interior structure, even a bit of kind of, dare one say, a bit of texturing on the inside. The outside is relatively smooth. Presumably it's been doped over on the outside. On the inside, the material's a little bit more raw, and so it's got a bit of texture on it, which is quite intriguing. How much of this we'll be able to see, of course, is another matter, but we'll do what we can. The tailplane here, again, very basic, but you know, livable. Again, more of these joints right on the edge, which are a little bit of a pain in the backside, to be honest, but yeah, there we go. Again, This isn't for the absolute novice. This is someone who's made a kit before and knows how to do sanding, basically. So I'd have better not mess up any of the sanding, eh? Yep, that's nice. Even got the little valve access there for the tyres, inflating the tyres. The tyres on the main wheels are separate here. These are the nose wheels and these are the main wheels with two-part hubs. Whether that's necessary or whether that's just to pump up the parts count, I don't know. The instruction leaflet that comes with it says scale 1/72, although it's actually got a 48th scale. Product code, I guess they do this in 1/72. In fact, that's the artwork for the 1/72. So I'm guessing it's exactly the same, but just a little bit bigger. General comments here are in Ukrainian now, and in English as well. There's a review of all the parts, where all the parts are, and then there's the construction. Yes, it is fairly basic. Yeah, it's extremely basic. It really shouldn't be too bad to do these. The engine's set quite far back. I don't know how much of that's going to be visible, but we'll do it anyway. And then the last thing you do is put the ring on. There's the center post there, and I'm going to run the wires from the center post to all of the anchor points around for the rigging. So very, very basic instructions, but then the kit itself is really basic, as indeed is the colour scheme. Basically, everything's linen apart from the wooden bits, which are wood. The rubber bits are black, and there's a few little bits and pieces here that are metal, which are steel. It could not be simpler. There are no decals to worry about. This should be quite a dream to paint. There it is then. Simple enough looking kit. The pretty simple colour scheme. No decals to use at all. What could be easier? Except, of course, I've already said I'm going to do the rigging. Now, the rigging does look like a challenge, and we don't shy away from challenges here. Well, not that often anyway, but I'm not going to on this occasion, that's for sure. So I'm going to be doing all the rigging, which will probably treble the build time, but whatever. I think it will look spectacular when it's done. If you would like to see how I get on, do please remember the best thing to do to find out about all my future content is to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, and you'll get a notification whenever I publish anything. And of course, anything you see on my channel that you like, please do give it the imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. Thank you so very much for watching. Hope to see you again on the channel soon. Take good care now, and goodbye.